Hey guys, so today we have a few stories to talk about, so we're gonna get into that, but Twitter, Instagram, follow me on there. It's a fun time. Don't know what that was, but also we have a second channel that is now on about 60k, so we're on our way to 100k, and I uploaded a video on there which is like a get ready with me makeup video, and there's gonna be more things coming on there to do with just me and my interests, if that's something that interests you. So that will be in the description down below, along with anything else that I might mention in this video that you guys might need to check out. So let's get into it. Recently there's been some tea regarding a few people. So for example, if we go through little stories, one of the mini stories I have is about Adele, which I don't think I've ever spoken about Adele on my channel, but it's about time. So she is allegedly worth about 190 million dollars. That's her net worth. Sis, go off. Hello. And she's going through a divorce with her husband, who she has a child with, and you know that can be very messy. It's kind of like when I spoke about Jeffree Star and Nate separating. When people separate, you kind of expect some level of human decency, and the fact that, you know, you clearly loved each other when you were together, hence why you got married and had a child together. You'd assume that there was a level of love and respect there. And now we find out that the divorce settlement is costing Adele 140 million. This man, he doesn't even deserve to be named. This man is going to get more than half of her money for simply existing, marrying her, and then divorcing her. I don't know how this is obviously going to go down. Apparently they're trying to keep everything hush-hush, so this could actually be false information. But there are so many articles coming out about this, just saying that she's going to have 140 million less in her bank account. Well, obviously it's not all in her bank account, but you know what I mean. So she's going to have to give him 140 million. That is disgusting behavior. She clearly worked for all of that. She's a talented singer. She's a talented performer. And the fact that she's going to have to give that away just because she's getting divorced is insane to me, but that's just how things go. Yeah, I don't think she signed a prenup, which I'm gonna say this now, I'm a big fan of prenups. I think it's something that everyone needs to do. You have to protect your money, and yes, a prenup is just in case of a divorce, and many people when they go into a marriage don't expect to get divorced, but things happen. 50% of marriages end in divorce. So I think everyone just has to protect themselves and the money that they have worked for really hard, and you shouldn't have to give that away just because you're getting married and divorced, you know? Just keep all your money to yourself. And this kind of is like the Jeffree Star Nate thing. They were cohabiting, and in some states that's apparently pretty much equal to getting married. So they might be entitled to some things if you've been cohabiting for a really long time. And Nate seems to be kind of wanting a little piece of that Jeffree Star money. Jeffree had to elaborate on the cars that Nate had. They were all in Jeffree's name. And then Jeffree made that Instagram story where he was like, oh, you know, when people just do you wrong and you'd never expect them to do you like that. And then he actually deleted the video, which I'm assuming is because everyone's kind of having a go at him for making fake content, but he had to elaborate, I'm assuming, because Nate was trying to probably get some stuff out of this relationship. They came out with like a family collection. One of the lipsticks was called Nathan, and allegedly you can't get it anymore. Was Nathan trying to get some royalties from that? Is that the tea? So I just think people need to protect themselves, because just because you're in love with this person right now doesn't mean it's going to last forever. Things can go wrong, and when things go wrong, people turn sour and people do things that they normally wouldn't do. So protect yourself and your money, please. Next piece of tea is Jaclyn Hill. I've never really spoken about Jaclyn Hill. She kind of sticks to herself and just does her thing, which is makeup. Recently, Nikki Tutorials filmed a studio tour where she shaded Pat McGrath. What did I recently do? I bought some Pat McGrath. You're going to see that on the second channel, so please subscribe. I'm probably going to do a full face of Pat McGrath, and she had a sale and I couldn't say no to a sale. I'm excited to try the makeup. It is so expensive. Can we talk about that, Pat? Can you make things a little cheaper, please? So she shaded Pat McGrath. When she was talking about her eyeshadow palettes, she said that whenever she has like a bad situation with a brand, she covers up their products with a different brand's products. She doesn't have to like look at it whenever she opens her drawers, and it was a Pat McGrath palette. Apparently she had a run-in face-to-face with this person and they weren't very nice to her. But the ultimate tea is that about like 2 years before that, she was actually part of Pat McGrath's lipstick campaign. She was invited to like an event, and then she was part of like the campaign of putting the lipstick on and stuff, and she actually got the lipsticks to then try in a video, and she gave them like an amazing review. Then there was silence. Then Nikki Tutorials actually shaded Ellen as well. She was really coming for all these celebrities. And then People sent me this in DMs, and I never really would have put two and two together if it wasn't for the DMs, but people were like, look at this Jackie Hannah video. And Jackie Hannah filmed a video about Pat McGrath, and she titled it, "How Could You Not Stan Pat McGrath?" And people are thinking, is this shade towards Nikki Tutorials? Because I know Jackie Hannah is very pro people of colour having their own successful companies, and she's always been very vocal about supporting people that support people like her. So I can completely understand why she would be pro Pat McGrath. Pat McGrath is such a successful woman. She's one of the most successful makeup artists, and she has one of the most successful makeup brands, and she is a black woman, and that is incredible. See, I've never seen anything bad about Pat McGrath, but clearly this is a personal issue between her and Nikki. But I'm assuming Jackie was just, I don't know, maybe if she saw the Nikki thing, she's never had a bad experience with Pat McGrath, so she was like, I'm going to support my fellow makeup artist. So yeah, I think maybe it was a little bit of shade. I don't know. There's also that Too Faced thing when Nikki has problems with Too Faced, and Jackie has worked with Too Faced a lot of times. She's worked on making new foundation shades for them and all that stuff. So I don't know, maybe there is some tea there, but maybe it's just a coincidence where she was like, I'm going to film a video about Pat McGrath, so I'm going to call it, Why Would You Not Stand Pat McGrath? You know, like maybe it was just not tea. Like maybe this is not tea at all, and they're all chilling in their separate houses, just like, why is everyone making a big deal about this? Or maybe it is tea. We will never know. Out of all things, I just want to know what happened between Nikki and Pat McGrath. Like, sis, can you just tell me? Like, I won't tell anyone. Just make it exclusive. Slide into my DMs and just tell me, please, because I'm so nosy right now. I haven't spoken about this person in a long time. Gabby Hannah, she recently tweeted about, I'm assuming an internet provider, and she was like, oh, I've been contacting them in customer service and they just haven't been helping me. If someone is paying for something and they expect a certain quality, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people under that tweet said, repeat after me, manage your expectations. If this was any other YouTuber, people would be like, yeah, you're paying for a service and you expect a certain service or a certain quality or a certain treatment from customer service. But the thing is, when Gabby Hannah was promoting those damn brushes like 2 years ago, and people were like, we paid X amount of money because we were expecting this quality, and it turns out these brushes are not even worth the discounted price. She was like, oh, well, you should have realized that $10 brushes were not going to be good quality. You manage your expectations. So I think now people are like, oh, so now you know what it feels like to overpay and not get what you're expecting. Wow, manage your expectations. So I thought that was pretty funny and pretty ironic. And I guess it just, the things you say or the things you do sometimes really do come back to bite you in the ass, and then you realize how you should have really reacted in that situation. Karma does its thing, you know, karma's always working. Just keeping an eye on everyone, all of you. In my last video, I spoke about James Charles and the mugshot thing. So there's been a trend on TikTok where people do mugshot. They put like a bruised eye or blood going out their nose or whatever, and James Charles jumped on the trend, and then he posted it on Instagram and Twitter and received a lot of backlash on Twitter from people saying that they were triggered by this due to like domestic abuse. And once he received that backlash, he started tweeting out things like, only I could lazily smudge on some purple eyeshadow and fake blood to recreate a dumb TikTok trend and have it twisted into an actual scandal. And then he went on to say, genuine question. The Weeknd's new album shows him bleeding, with a broken nose and with bruises, yet I haven't seen a single tweet about him glorifying violence or abuse. Can someone please explain how it's any different? I'm trying to understand. And then he says, I love both of these artists so much. I'm actually asking a question to have an open discussion. He puts The Weeknd and Billie Eilish with blood on their faces. And then he says, despite the fact that hundreds of other influencers and artists have done something similar, I deleted the mugshot trend because it was never my intention to trigger anyone. And it's a waste of time trying to have an open discussion with people who hate me regardless. As much as this can be triggering to people and this can be something that sparks some kind of an emotion in them, this in reality isn't James Charles's fault. He followed a trend that was very popular on TikTok. It is getting hundreds of thousands of likes on TikTok and not a single problem. And yet the moment he does it, there is a lot of outrage. I think at this point, people just find any reason to be mad at James Charles. It is almost a hobby for people to be mad about everything that James Charles does. And I get it. If this is something that's actually triggering you, he should have put a trigger warning on that. Or actually said that this was the mugshot trend. The thing is, on Twitter, when he posted it, he didn't say, hey, this is the mugshot trend. He just posted these pictures, and we were expected to just be like... Most people, if they didn't go on TikTok, they wouldn't know what this was. So they were like, why are you posting a picture of yourself looking beaten up? But it is a TikTok trend, and it wasn't started by James Charles. It was started by other people. Whether you think the trend is good or not, that's its own topic. But the fact that James Charles is the only person being dragged for this is actually blowing my mind. He then, I know people dragged him for this because he obviously apologized for putting this out there, or he didn't. He like basically took down the tweet. And then he posted a video on it on TikTok, which I'm assuming he had pre-filmed because he's not going to do the exact same makeup again 3 days later to post it on TikTok. I think he already filmed that TikTok and then he posted it 3 days later after he had already had this whole thread going on, and people are saying like, oh, why did he take the tweet down and then go and post it on TikTok knowing he's getting all this backlash? Because no one on TikTok cares. Like, in reality, this trend started on TikTok. It gets hundreds of thousands of likes on TikTok, and no one in the comment section on TikTok is offended by this. So yeah, he took it down on Twitter, but he still has it up on Instagram, so he's obviously going to still post it on TikTok because it's a TikTok trend. I don't really see a problem with that, but I do understand why people might be affected by this, and he should have probably put some kind of a warning there. The next piece of tea is Jaclyn Hill. Jaclyn Hill recently had obviously a lot of problems. We already spoke about all of that, but she posted a quiz type video with her boyfriend Jordan. So it was a Jaclyn and Jordan J&J Q&A, which I think was pretty cute if you ask me. The whole video was great. I watched the whole thing. I was highly entertained throughout. I think they make a great couple. I think people give them a lot of shit because it's like a trendy thing to give Jaclyn shit for absolutely everything. I think they look cute. They are a cute couple. I kind of really like them together, and he seems very invested in her. Like, he answered pretty much every single question. He was like, I know what your favorite handbag is, don't test me. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it, but people had a bit of an issue. There was tweets going on Twitter with the fact that she had a whole cocktail alcohol theme going in the background of that video, and she recently admitted to having an alcohol problem, which she actually did mention in the quiz in one of the questions, where he said that the one thing that affects her very much is negative comments. And then she said, yeah, I'll read a negative comment and I'll go straight to the bottle, which she made into a joke because that's probably how she copes with things. So the problem is, you know, clearly there. She has mentioned it herself and she is now dealing with that. So I don't know, some people felt like it's like sending mixed signals to be talking about having a problem with alcohol and with coping with things through alcohol, and then having a whole background set up to do with cocktails and alcohol. But that is her prerogative. I'm just saying, what do you guys think about this? Is it like inappropriate for her to do that after already mentioning that she has an issue with alcohol? Or maybe if she now feels comfortable around alcohol, she can expose herself to alcohol while also being able to control herself. I don't know, I'm not in Jaclyn Hill's mind and I don't want to invade her privacy, but that is something that people have brought up, that it is a little bit uncomfortable for them because she has mentioned this issue that she has, and then she has a background to do with alcohol. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this. I just think it's up to her to deal with things in a way that she wants to deal with things. And if this makes her comfortable, then that's fine. But I just don't want her to fall down a certain route again and have to deal with that, because obviously that's, despite her having, you know, launches or lying to people, I never wish addiction on anyone, you know. That's like something that people heavily struggle with. And the next thing is she had an undisclosed link. So recently she filmed a favorites video where Gigi spilled the tea on Twitter, said that most of her links on there were undisclosed. It just said that some of these links might be affiliate links, but according to the FDA that's not an appropriate like statement to make. You have to say which exact ones are affiliate links, and she didn't. And if you click on them, it like redirects you to a website that then quickly redirects you to another website, which is how you know that it's an affiliate link. And recently she's been speaking about anxiety a lot, and she said that what helps her is coloring books, and she has a lot of like markers and coloring books. And apparently she said that a lot of people ask her what markers she uses, and she linked a specific brand on Amazon, and when you clicked on that link it did that redirect thing. So it must be an affiliate link, allegedly, that she hasn't disclosed. So that's very interesting. I wonder when these faves will actually get the consequences for not disclosing links, because I think until they receive some kind of a consequence they will keep on doing it, because it is much more profitable for them and the company to not disclose. So until there is some kind of a consequence, they will not stop. So if the FDA actually wants like control this problem, they need some consequences in place, like to say, if you do this, this is the consequence you'll receive. And then maybe, just maybe, that will deter these influencers from doing that. But until then, I think they'll just keep on doing it. But that's the tea on Jaclyn Hill. She's been very low-key lately and just not doing much. So I recently spoke about Trisha Paytas because she has been very problematic, making a lot of false comments about DID and having DID and what DID is. And a lot of them are putting bad stigma on DID. But recently I also spoke about the fact that she was supposed to be in H3H3's Bachelor thing that they do. It's like an online Bachelor where they get an influencer and they basically make them into, it's the Bachelor program thing but just online. She was supposed to take part in that, and then allegedly out of nowhere she started dating Hila's brother, which means that she couldn't take part in the Bachelor anymore. And apparently it was like a big deal because, you know, she had already agreed to doing this Bachelor thing where you're supposed to be dating different people, and then she starts officially dating Hila's brother. And now people are wondering if this is like set up, if this is fake beef between Trisha Paytas and H3H3, because their videos on Trisha Paytas get a lot more views than any other videos that they make, so it would only make sense to continue making videos about her. But if she doesn't really do anything, they can't make videos on her. But if they have personal beef with her, they can make videos on her. So I'm just wondering, it's a bit of a coincidence that she was supposed to take part in this Bachelor thing and she starts dating the host's brother. I know it's a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but yeah, I'm just wondering if it's actually happening or if that's fake or if she's just being a troll, because I've heard different opinions. Some people are saying that she's just a troll and that she did this on purpose to piss them off, so she has a reason to make videos on them and so that they make videos on her. And then some people are saying that this is planned by H3H3 and Trisha Paytas. This is like a collaborative action. So I'm just wondering which side you're more leaning on, whether this is like purely Trisha being Trisha or if this is actually planned by all of them. But Trisha Paytas has also recently been pretending to be Jewish. So she's now a nugget, she's and a Trump supporter, she's also has the AD, she's also transgender, she's also Jewish. I wonder what else. I suppose she was supposed to be a Mormon as well. I don't know, guys, I don't know. The next and last piece of tea is Brooke Houts. Brooke Houts is the girl that hit her dog on camera, pushed him, spat on him, and her channel has just never been the same since then, and I don't think it ever will be. She recently has found a new boyfriend and now they have a couples channel. All of their videos get really bad dislike to like ratio, clearly shows what people think about their content, and they recently uploaded a video called The Situation About the Dog, and it literally just, they called it the dog, not by his name, not our dog, my dog, the dog. We're going to talk about the dog. And it was a 35-minute video out of which she spoke for like 5 minutes and he spoke for the rest of the video. Like, I'm sorry, right? I get that it's a joint channel, I get it, but like, why does he have to speak so much? And she just sat in the corner, she was like, say something. Why is he the one making excuses for you? But anyway, he basically said that when he met her, he didn't know that she was a YouTuber, that she didn't mention the dog thing, and then he found it out. He spoke to his parents. His dad trained canine dogs for the police, and he said that the training for being a canine dog is much more harsh than this, allegedly, and that his dad was like, oh, this isn't a big deal, I feel so sorry that she's being hated on like this. And then he didn't bring it up to her because he was like, oh, she's clearly very much affected by this still. And then she brought it up to him and he was like, oh, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. And then he was like, I'm so proud that she managed to get through all of this with a smile. And I was like, I don't care. And then he repeated about 20 million times that as long as he spreads the word of God and the positivity, he doesn't care about anything that they receive, like hate or dislikes. And he repeated this about 20,000 times. He also said that he was never he was never in the YouTube scene, so he didn't like know what was going on. But then she linked his channel that he's had and been posting on like sparsely for the last like 11 months, and he's got like 80 subs on there. And now they have this joint channel. Like, for someone that's not invested in YouTube, he's doing a lot to become a YouTuber. But the thing is, I think he just picked the wrong person to promote him. So they kind of talk about the whole situation, but on top of that, they also make travel vlogs. Now, this might not be a problem if we weren't in a quarantine, a lockdown, a pandemic, if you will. When your whole country is under a lockdown, that means stay at home unless you need to get essentials. They went out to get coffee, they went out to their friend's house, they went to get takeaway, and then they traveled to Idaho. They did a road trip. Well done, guys, well done. How about you don't start a travel channel during a pandemic where you're in a lockdown? And maybe after you get cancelled for your dog, don't then travel during a lockdown and get also cancelled for that, because people already don't have a good opinion on you. The whole video was bullshit. It was like, well, I accept her because people change, and actually canine dogs go through much more disciplining. See, I've watched, because it's like a weird thing that I do and enjoy watching on YouTube, is when people train dogs for like being guard dogs. Yes, like when you can buy fully trained dogs that are guard dogs, and they're also dogs that go through the canine training, and you can see all of that on YouTube. There is no hitting, there's no spitting, there's no pushing. It is simply discipline. They'll give a command, the dog will do a thing, and then they will say stop, and then the dog stops. That's the training process. They pretend to hit the dog, they pretend to push him to, you know, get him to react to being a guard dog. But the difference is that is a dog that's being trained to be attacked by people and attack back in times of need. This is just a house pet. This is a pet that you're supposed to just love and train, but not really, like, just sit, lie down, paw. Like, that's all the training you're really going to do with a pet. Like, unless this was supposed to be a guard dog, that kind of training is unnecessary. This is supposed to be a pet that you spend time with, that you love, that you give treats to, that you hug. He's not being trained to be a canine dog, so there is no need for the discipline. So the fact that you're comparing a house pet to a canine dog, just, there's no comparison there. Like, yes, you're going to pretend or even sometimes slightly hit a canine dog when you're training him, because in situations where he's being attacked or there is a burglary in the house, he is going to be hit by people and he needs to be used to not being scared of being hit by people. So that makes sense in that context. But when you're home and the dog is simply jumping on you out of excitement, that is not a situation where you need to push or hit your dog or spit on him. And he also pushed the narrative of, oh, she was just making the spitting noise. Okay, shut up. That's what's happening with Brooke Houts. I think YouTube is just not going to work out for her anymore, because at this point, I don't think there's any going back from any of that. She is just cancelled for good. Like, that's just it. Like, their second channel got about 3k subs and they're getting about like 400 to 1k dislikes on every video with like 50 likes. Most of the comments are bad. No one's excited for this. So I just think maybe find a different job at this point, because I think it's different when you just become irrelevant, like you stop getting views or whatever. You can bounce back from that. Like, I've made videos before on the road to irrelevancy to just show how people go from being at their peak to being at the bottom. Like, what have they done to get there? But a lot of those channels, if they just keep on uploading, they can go back to their peak again. Channels go through an up and down a lot. No one's channel is just straight up. People's channels are, you know, they go up, they go down, they get stagnant, they go up, stagnant, down. Like, people's channels go through waves. My channel's go through waves. It has had some really high highs and then some like stagnant moments and then slightly dips and then high moments. But when you get cancelled for hitting your dog, yeah, there's just no going back from that. Sorry. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, anything, comment down below, and subscribe, because I upload about every other day, but usually it's about like 3 times a week. So hit that bell and you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links and second channel in description down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.